Tehran there. We have now that clip of President Donald Trump announcing and confirming operations on Iran. Let's listen to it.
A short time ago, the United States military began major combat operations in Iran. Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime, a vicious group of very hard, terrible people. Its menacing activities directly endanger the United States, our troops, our bases overseas, and our allies throughout the world. For 47 years, the Iranian regime has chanted death to America and waged an unending campaign of bloodshed and mass murder, targeting the United States, our troops, and the innocent people in many, many countries. Among the regime's very first acts was to back a violent takeover of the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, holding dozens of American hostages for 444 days. In 1983, Iran's proxies carried out the Marine barracks bombing in Beirut that killed 241 American military personnel. In 2000, they knew and were probably involved with the attack on the USS Cole. Many died. Iranian forces killed and maimed hundreds of American service members in Iraq. The regime's proxies have continued to launch countless attacks against American forces stationed in the Middle East in recent years, as well as U.S. naval and commercial vessels in international shipping lanes. It's been mass terror, and we're not going to put up with it any longer. From Lebanon to Yemen and Syria to Iraq, the regime has armed, trained, and funded terrorist militias that have soaked the earth with blood and guts. And it was Iran's proxy, Hamas, that launched the monstrous October 7th attacks on Israel, slaughtering more than 1,000 innocent people, including 46 Americans, while taking 12 of our citizens hostage. It was brutal, something like the world has never seen before. Iran is the world's #1 state sponsor of terror and just recently killed tens of thousands of its own citizens on the street as they protested. It has always been the policy of the United States, in particular my administration, that this terrorist regime can never have a nuclear weapon. I'll say it again, they can never have a nuclear weapon. That is why in Operation Midnight Hammer last June, we obliterated the regime's nuclear program at Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan. After that attack, we warned them never to resume their malicious pursuit of nuclear weapons, and we sought repeatedly to make a deal. We tried. They wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. Again, they wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. They didn't know what was happening. They just wanted to practice evil. But Iran refused, just as it has for decades and decades. They've rejected every opportunity to renounce their nuclear ambitions, and we can't take it anymore. Instead, they attempted to rebuild their nuclear program and to continue developing long-range missiles that can now threaten our very good friends and allies in Europe, our troops stationed overseas, and could soon reach the American homeland. Just imagine how emboldened this regime would be if they ever had and actually were armed with nuclear weapons as a means to deliver their message. For these reasons, the United States military is undertaking a massive and ongoing operation to prevent this very wicked, radical dictatorship from threatening America and our core national security interests. We are going to destroy their missiles and raise their missile industry to the ground. It will be totally, again, obliterated. We're going to annihilate their Navy. We're going to ensure that the region's terrorist proxies can no longer destabilize the region or the world and attack our forces and no longer use their IEDs or roadside bombs, as they are sometimes called, to so gravely wound and kill thousands and thousands of people, including many Americans. And we will ensure that Iran does not obtain a nuclear weapon. It's a very simple message. They will never have a nuclear weapon. This regime will soon learn that no one should challenge the strength and might of the United States Armed Forces. I built and rebuilt our military in my first administration, and there is no military on earth even close to its power, strength, or sophistication. My administration has taken every possible step to minimize the risk to U.S. personnel in the region. Even so, and I do not make this statement lightly, the Iranian regime seeks to kill. The lives of courageous American heroes may be lost, and we may have casualties. That often happens in war. But we're doing this not for now. We're doing this for the future, and it is a noble mission. We pray for every service member as they selflessly risk their lives to ensure that Americans and our children will never be threatened by a nuclear-armed Iran. We ask God to protect all of our heroes in harm's way, and we trust that, with his help, the men and women of the armed forces will prevail. We have the greatest in the world, and they will prevail. To the members of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard, the armed forces, and all of the police, I say tonight that you must lay down your weapons and have complete immunity, or, in the alternative, face certain death. So, lay down your arms. You will be treated fairly with total immunity, or you will face certain death. Finally, to the great, proud people of Iran, I say tonight that the hour of your freedom is at hand. Stay sheltered. Don't leave your home. It's very dangerous outside. Bombs will be dropping everywhere. When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take. This will be probably your only chance for generations. For many years, you have asked for America's help, but you never got it. No president was willing to do what I am willing to do tonight. Now you have a president who is giving you what you want. So let's see how you respond. America is backing you with overwhelming strength and devastating force. Now is the time to seize control of your destiny and to unleash the prosperous and glorious future that is close within your reach. This is the moment for action. Do not let it pass. May God bless the brave men and women of America's armed forces. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless you all. Thank you.
There you have it, U.S. President Donald Trump announcing the U.S. has begun major combat operations in Iran after Israel said earlier that it had launched missile attacks against Iran. President Trump there making a number of statements which we're going to analyze with our chief U.S. correspondent Alan Fisher in Washington. But just to remind our viewers of what's happened, again, multiple attacks on Iran, multiple explosions heard in Iran's capital, Tehran, while blasts were also reported in other cities and other locations across the country. Alan Fisher, to what President Trump has just said in that 8-minute video he posted on Truth Social, what is the objective of this operation from President Trump, and how long is it going to last?
The United States has once again set the table for a revolution in Iran. They've done it before. This time they're doing it with weapons and bombs rather than covertly through the CIA. It's clear that this is going to be a continuous military operation. Donald Trump accepting the fact that there may be casualties, saying that it's something that you have to accept in war, and urging the Iranian people to sit tight for the moment, but then to seize control of their government. One thing he said, of course, was that the Republican Guard and also the police should lay down their weapons. If they do so, they'll be treated fairly. But if they don't, he said, you will face almost certain death. So this is clearly not just a one-and-done sort of operation. This is what everyone was concerned about for a number of months with the huge US military build-up in the Gulf. This is about regime change in Iran. There will be those close to Donald Trump, like Lindsey Graham, who will be delighted about this, who's been pushing for it for years. But there'll be many who will be deeply concerned that Donald Trump has effectively launched a war in Iran without seeking congressional approval. We don't even know if he's informed Congress that this was going to take place. This was Donald Trump saying, we have tolerated what Iran has done over a number of years and now no more. Interestingly, coming as they were negotiating with Iran about their nuclear program, and the Omani negotiator appeared on American television just a few hours ago to say that the Iranians had agreed that they would no longer process enough material to build a nuclear bomb, that was a significant concession on their part, that they were moving towards an agreement. They had the heart of an agreement. Donald Trump said he wasn't pleased with the Iranians, but he hadn't made a decision. That was just a few hours ago as well. Clearly the decision was made, and the United States has decided to launch a war on Iran.
Alan, just briefly, how long do we expect this operation to last?
Of course, we have no idea of telling that. We have no idea what the targets are. We know that the United States will have significant intelligence from Iran. We know that they're working hand in hand with the Israelis. What they will be preparing for now is the backlash. We already saw that with the evacuation of some embassies around the region when non-essential staff were told that they should leave, and they should leave now. That suggests that perhaps, as Donald Trump was saying, he hadn't made a decision. The wind was moving in the direction of an attack. Of course, there'll be allies in the region who'll be concerned, particularly about the idea of regime change. We remember, if you go back to the original Iranian Revolution in the 70s, there was a real possibility for a short period of time after Ayatollah Khomeini returned to the country that people described as radical Islamists may well take over the country. They were eventually defeated. But there is no guarantee there is a clear path for whoever may take over the Iranian government now. It throws up all sorts of levels of uncertainty, something Donald Trump has criticised others for, particularly when it came to the war in Iraq, and it appears he's now walking into a similar situation himself.
OK, Alan, thank you very much. Alan Fisher, our chief US correspondent in Washington there. It's just